All right, folks, let's talk about how to do this assignment, the Billy Bass assignment. So you should have set up this guy like this with your Arduino and your board. We're out of the 5-volt into the positives. We're out of the ground into the negatives. So we've got our motion sensor PIR thing hooked up. I'm going to move myself over here so we can say, okay, so the PIR sensor is over here. You can grab it from down here. If you hover over that, you got to make sure you got it hooked up right. There's a signal, power, and a ground. So the signal is going to go into slot 4 on the Arduino. The power is going to the 5-volt side, and the ground is going to the ground side. Then from 7, we were going through a resistor, which I believe we made as a kilo ohm. That'll work. If you reduce it, actually, I'm going to change that to like 500 ohms and see how that goes. And then we're in, the piezo does have a positive and negative side, so I made sure I went in with that. Now, we are going to deal with the PIR later, but for this assignment, we're just going to get started with the code, and we're just going to do what we're going to do with the piezo is we're going to play Jingle Bells. You want to do something else, you can, but I'm trying to keep it simple. So let's look at that first and talk about, so I cut out from somewhere that your Jingle Bells has basically only 1, 2, 3, 4 different notes, right? And most of them is a repeat of the same thing in the same pattern. So it's this, 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 and it's jingle all the way, right? So we're going to make it tone, space, tone. Now, we're going to have to set that up. Now, these 3 things repeat. And the only difference between the first 6 things is that there's a little more space in between. So rather than go turn it on at a certain tone, wait, turn it off, wait for every single one of these, we want to make the least amount of code as possible. So we're going to do some looping and some repeating to make that happen. So I'll move that to the side for a moment, and let's talk about the code. Now, for what I've decided to do here is to, rather than get into the text yet, we're going to go ahead and just use blocks for now, and then we'll translate that into text later on. So you can take whatever's in there and get rid of it. It always comes with this little flashing LED guy that we'll just get rid of. And so we're going to start with turning the speaker on. Now, if I just want to play a single note, we're going to play speaker. Now, the piezo in this case is a speaker. And we're going to play it on pin 7 because that's where it's coming from. Now, right now it's on tone 60 and it's a second. I think I'm going to change that to a 0.5 seconds. Now, it's important. The hardest thing to get students to understand is about wait times, especially when we start getting into C coding and robotics and things. Wait times are really important. By nature will think, well, I'm going to say this note and then I'm going to go to the next note. But what you don't realize is that there's a pause in between those things, right? I will see people, for example, when we're doing robotics, start a motor and then they stop the motor. They'll run and so they'll say start motor, stop motor. They'll run it through and say, well, something's wrong. It didn't run. Well, it did run. It turned on that motor for a millisecond or however long it took to process from starting to stop it. And they didn't put a wait time in. So wait times are really important. All right. So we're going to have a control where we wait. Okay. get in the habit of using milliseconds, because when we're text coding, we're going to be using milliseconds. So I'm going to wait 500 milliseconds. Now that's how long it's going to play this. Okay, or it's playing it for 0.5 seconds. Then I'm going to wait a half second before. Oh, actually, I think we can just turn it off. Sorry, let me do that again. I forgot that the time that it's going is in here. So we can then turn speaker off on pin 7. Okay. So you could have also said to set it to low, which means that it's off. Same idea here. We're going to wait 5 milliseconds. Now this is automatically on a loop. So it's turning on, playing for a half second, turning it off, waiting a half second, then it should turn it on again. And so this should loop with this tone 60. Now, what's funny is in the blocks, the tone value is actually different than the tone value in the text. So I'm not sure why they don't use the same value. But let's see how this goes. So, not playing at all, or at least I don't hear it. Maybe it is. Maybe I do have to have a wait time. Let's find out if I do need to put that in there. I'm just going to put 1 second in there just to. There we go. Okay. Now, I thought I was going to be smart and make this video and show you things, but I'm learning while I'm doing it. If I take that and throw it away, is that not the same thing? Yeah, so right now, I'm not sure why it should be doing this for 5 seconds and then turning off, but possibly what's happening here is it's going straight from this command to this command, and so it's running. I've got the simulation going right now, but evidently we need to put a that 500 milliseconds up here also. So notice I'm turning it on, I'm waiting, I'm turning it off, I'm waiting. Okay, so that should actually repeat that tone. Okay, so that's what's happening. All right, now, if you're a musician, you can figure out what the tone of E is. You got your guitar out there or whatever. I'm going to have to just kind of do it by ear, and I think it's a little lower than that. I'll try a 50. Okay. Maybe right in between. A little less. So one value is quite a bit different. Okay, so here's the point. You're going to decide what your values are. But we're going to repeat this thing and have it go through. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it repeat a repeat. So this is kind of weird. So we have repeat 10 times, and actually I'm only going to repeat it 2 times. And that's the ... right? So within the repeat, we're going to have a repeat, and we're going to have a wait, and we're going to have another repeat. So I'm setting this up ahead of time so that I know what's happening in here. So we're only going to repeat this actually, I don't need to repeat it all. Oh, I can get rid of this one in here now that I think about it. So we'll go within here. We're going to go ... wait ... and then it will move on. Okay. So we're going to repeat that twice. Within it, we're going to repeat the ... twice. to do fewer lines of code. So I think that you're going to have to play around with your times. All right, so here we go with the twice. We're going to go the dut, 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 correct? So it's going to play, play, play. Then it's going to pause after it repeats this and waits. Actually, I'm going to put that wait in here. No, this wait needs to go outside of it. Okay. See, this is where programming gets where you have to think about it a little bit. So it's going to be dut, 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 wait, dut, 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 wait. Okay. So let's look at how this is going to go. Oh, I need to repeat it 3 times inside. So there we go. Let's try that again. All right, so that actually looks pretty good, except it's just too slow. So I need to speed out all of my wait times up and everything else. So I wonder if I can move this over, get myself a little more room. There we go. So I've got that to repeat those first 3 things, and I'm going to have to wait again. Then I'm going to have to change my tone to go da da da, and then that second to last is going to last longer than the rest of them, and the last one will be the same amount. So, and then this whole thing is on a loop, so it should play that first 3 lines of Jingle Bells, Jingle Bells, Jingle Bells, Jingle all the way, right? So, I'm going to stop there because my goal is not to have you copy me, but to think about it a little bit and go ahead and do this. So once you've got it down and you've got your tones right and you've got it sounding the way you want it to be, then you're going to cut out all this. You zoom out as far as you need to, so you've got all your code. So show me your code and your setup next to each other. Take a picture of all that stuff and turn that in. All right. Hope it works out. You know, if you really want to do something else, you can make me a note that you did a different song, but I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. So, all right. Hope it worked out for you. Have fun. See you next time.